And yeah, I was proud of him. Very, very close fight. Very, very close fight. Not going to go on about a decision. It could have gone either way. Chris done better in the later rounds, which I was very impressed with.
Didn't protest the outcome or make excuses for Conor. Instead, he quietly praised Chris Eubank Jr.'s performance, especially his dominance in the later rounds. That silence spoke volumes. There was no outrage, no defense, just a quiet, painful acknowledgement that Conor hadn't risen to the occasion. When even your own father chooses honesty over loyalty, it's clear the truth is unavoidable. Conor simply wasn't good enough. Not even Nigel could deny that hard reality.
I don't think Conor performed to his best of his ability. Was winging a lot of shots
and drops a bombshell, tearing into Conor's performance without hesitation. He bluntly admits that Conor failed to deliver, throwing wild, sloppy shots that lacked both precision and composure. Benn doesn't hold back, declaring that Conor simply wasn't prepared for the challenge. In contrast, Chris Eubank Jr. impressed with calculated control, reinforcing his status as the favorite and clearly proving his superiority. The truth is undeniable. Eubank Jr. was the more disciplined, focused fighter. Even Tony Sims echoed. This, emphasizing how Eubank's experience and poise in the final rounds ultimately made all the difference.
I feel like the last 2 rounds was what really probably won it for Chris, is that he outmanned Conor in the last 2 rounds, out-experienced.
Tony Sims doesn't hold back, calling Conor's performance a disgrace. He emphasizes that despite Conor's efforts, it was the final 2 rounds where Chris Eubank Jr. truly seized control. Sims highlights Eubank's superior experience and strength, noting how he outmuscled Conor and left him with no opportunity to recover. The truth is, Eubank Jr. displayed a level of maturity and composure that Conor simply couldn't match. Sims gives full credit to Eubank's dominant performance as the decisive factor in the outcome of the fight.
I don't know if it was so much Conor surprised me how well he boxed, because of the way Chris Eubank must have been feeling, because he was, he looked terrible on the scales. Absolutely terrible.
Nelson doesn't mince words when assessing the fight. While he admits that Conor Benn surprised him with a stronger performance than expected, he quickly shifts focus to Chris Eubank Jr., slamming his physical condition at the weigh-in. Nelson describes Eubank as looking absolutely terrible on the scales, raising serious concerns about his fitness leading up to the bout. Yet despite Eubank's shaky appearance, Benn still couldn't take advantage. Nelson underscores that the fight wasn't as one-sided as some believed, and even with Eubank clearly not at his best, Benn failed to close the deal. It leaves lingering questions. Were Eubank's real struggles just beginning, or was he simply too much for Benn to handle, even at less than 100%?
It was never going to be. And the fight wasn't close for me. I made Eubank win by at least 3 rounds, maybe 4. And, they're not crying about it, neither of them, mind you, because, I think Eubank was on 10 million guaranteed, Conor Benn's on 7 million guaranteed. That's ridiculous money, and I'm not going to say it was a ridiculous fight. It wasn't a ridiculous fight, it was an entertaining.
Mackenzie pulls no punches in his analysis of Chris Eubank Jr.'s dominant win over Conor Benn, confidently stating that Eubank was always destined to take the fight. Mackenzie saw no real contest, scoring it clearly in Eubank's favor, by at least 3 or 4 rounds. Despite the lopsided outcome, he points out that neither fighter is complaining, thanks in part to their massive paydays, with Eubank earning $10 million and Benn $7 million. But for Mackenzie, this bout wasn't just a money grab, it was a legitimate, hard-fought contest. He stresses that Eubank's victory was about proving his superiority with no room for controversy. Ben Whitaker echoed that sentiment, focusing less on the money and more on the heart, grit, and relentless determination both fighters showed, making it a true battle for the ages.
What you call a classic? I think the right man won, but it was a great fight for both parts. Many had a draw, but that was unanimous. Yeah, I think the right man won. But it was a great fight. Both had great heart, and it was the fans loved it.
Ben Whitaker didn't hold back in his reflection on the epic clash between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, calling it nothing short of a classic. He firmly believes the right man had his hand raised, stating that despite a vocal crowd and online calls for a draw, the unanimous decision was completely justified. Eubank Jr. had done just enough to earn the win. But for Whittaker, it wasn't just about the result. It was about the heart, grit, and sheer determination both fighters brought to the ring. This was no ordinary bout. It was an unforgettable showdown where both men left everything in the ring. The crowd's energy was electric, and the relentless drive on display showcased boxing at its finest.
See what a great match that would be. They have a similar physicality, and it was just so exciting to see two guys. And as for Conor Benn, he had to give away 18 pounds maybe. He never took a step backwards, and almost 70,000 fans, British fans, are still the best, no doubt about it.
Buffer was electrified after witnessing the thrilling clash between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, calling it one of the most exciting matchups in recent memory. He marveled at how the fighters' contrasting physical styles collided to create a perfect storm in the ring. What stood out most to Buffer was Benn's relentless, fearless approach. Despite giving up nearly 18 pounds, he fought like a warrior, charging forward without hesitation. Buffer also praised the British fans, calling them the best in the world, as nearly 70,000 packed the arena and generated an atmosphere unlike any other. The drama, passion, and raw heart on display elevated the fight to instant classic status, a testament to why boxing continues to captivate audiences. After a night like that, fans will no doubt be hungry for more.
Over the moon, absolutely over the moon. To see Chris get his hand raised, and it's been a difficult camp, it's been a difficult time. I think everyone's seen the pictures, everyone's seen the stories, everyone's seen what he's had to go through. Fair play to Conor Benn because he was phenomenal as well.
And Shalom couldn't contain his excitement following Chris Eubank Jr.'s hard-earned victory, expressing his joy after a grueling journey leading up to the fight. Acknowledging the many challenges his camp faced, Shalom made it clear that the road to the ring had been anything but smooth. Yet he didn't hesitate to praise Conor Benn for his exceptional performance, highlighting how Benn pushed Eubank to the absolute limit with his resilience and skill. Both fighters, he noted, left everything in the ring, proving their heart, grit, and deep commitment to the sport. Shalom's admiration echoed Eddie Hearn's, with both promoters recognizing the bout as one of the most thrilling and intense in recent boxing memory. With the rivalry now burning hotter than ever, Shalom sees this as just the beginning of what could become a legendary saga, and he's already looking forward to what comes next.
A really good fight. I think it was a lot closer than what it was. Commend Conor Benn immensely because he put on an amazing performance. Remember, he's a welterweight. Never really boxed at world-class level at 160 or around. Chris has more experience on the world scene than Conor did himself.
Johnny Nelson offered a brutally honest assessment of the fight, stating it was far closer than the scorecards suggested. He was particularly impressed by Conor Benn's courage in stepping up to the 160-pound weight class, a division completely unfamiliar to him. Benn's resilience and technical skill were on full display, earning Nelson's respect. However, Nelson emphasized that it was Chris Eubank Jr.'s world-class experience that ultimately proved decisive. Eubank's superior conditioning and deep understanding of high-level boxing gave him the edge in what was a fierce, competitive battle. While Benn fought with tremendous heart and pushed Eubank to the brink, Nelson believes it was Eubank's composure and wealth of experience under pressure that sealed the victory. In his view, despite how hard-fought the contest was, Eubank deserved the win and reaffirmed his status as the more seasoned fighter in the ring.
Conor wants it next, and he was talking about maybe going down in weight. I think that if they want to get it on, they do it again in 6 months' time, and we'll come.
Adam Smith doesn't hold back, making it crystal clear that a monumental rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn is inevitable. Smith lauds Eubank Jr. for his resilience and incredible comeback, proving once again that he's a top-tier fighter. Despite facing adversity, Eubank Jr.'s elite status shines through as he handles pressure like a true champion. On the other hand, Conor Benn is equally driven, fueled by the desire to prove that his initial defeat to Eubank, JR, was just a fluke. Benn is determined to silence his critics and stake his claim among the sport's elite. According to Smith, this rematch is not just likely, it's a certainty. Both fighters have unfinished business, and the world has been eagerly awaiting this clash. In 6 months, this epic showdown will unfold, with Benn hungry for revenge and Eubank Jr. aiming to cement his dominance in boxing. This isn't just another fight, it's the ultimate test of who truly rules the ring. Make sure to hit the like button, share your predictions in the comments, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis and updates on this thrilling rivalry.